Happy Friday, I'm Trace, and thanks for watching This Week in Discovery News. Each week I recap the top stories of the last 7 days, including your social media comments, which you can find in the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Our stories this week have to do with Mayan Doomsday, dangerous dogs, and the controversial time cover from last week. Our first story is, are pit bulls inherently dangerous? Pit bulls are getting a bad rap in the state of Maryland. The legislature of Maryland has ruled that all pit bulls are inherently dangerous, which means regardless of environment or raising or ownership, these animals are vicious under Maryland state law. I think we can all tell that this is a really silly law based on some flimsy science. Most common dog bites are from Chihuahuas, Dachshunds, and Jack Russell Terriers, and what are they used for? To sell frickin' chalupas. Much like with children, the fault, my friends, lies with the parents. The owner of the dog can create an environment of violence. Discipline, environment, and socialization can create a happy, healthy pup or a raging killing machine. Except maybe those fluffy dogs that live in bags. Those are just ridiculous. It's not an accessory, it's an animal. Read the full sad story at discoverynews.com/dangerouspitbulls. Moving on from dangerous dog breeds to breeding ignorant dogma, Mayan ruins describe dates beyond 2012's Doomsday. You may have to pay your credit card bills in December after all.
Aw, man!
In the ancient ruins of the sprawling Maya city of Zultun, we found what archaeologists have known for a long time. The Mayans never predicted Doomsday on December 21st, 2012. This new evidence shows that the Mayans have dates past the end of this calendar. It turns out the Mayans believed in a future after all.
I just want to celebrate, yeah. Another day of living, yeah.
In case you are somehow unfamiliar with the 2012 Mayan Doomsday scenario, this ancient civilization was able to create some extremely accurate calendars. They had a 260-day ceremonial calendar, a 365-day solar calendar, a 584-day Venus cycle calendar, and a 780-day Martian calendar. And they did all of that while Europe was still in the Dark Ages. The problem started when it turns out that the Mayan calendar ends on December 21st, 2012. People assumed this meant that the world was going to end too, and after being shunned by rapture after rapture and the asteroids that were supposed to hit us missed and all this other stuff, they were clamoring for a way to end humanity. What's the matter? They don't like it here anymore? Come on! In reality, this discovery adds credence to the complexities of the Mayan culture. They were able to build ages into their calendar. They just needed a calendar that ended so they could have a new calendar, just like that one that says hang in there on your wall. I have a lolcats calendar, okay? It's funny. To read more, visit discoverynews.com/doomsdayisoff. And you would think that would be the most controversial topic of the day, but no, we've got something even better for you with this Time cover. 3-year-old breastfeeds on Time cover. Risque or ridiculous? Did you see last week's cover of Time magazine? Here it is. It's a little bit controversial. Actually, more than a little bit controversial. It had huge amount of press last week. The woman in the picture is a 26-year-old mom from Los Angeles who weaned herself from breastfeeding at age 6. She follows the theory of attachment parenting, which among other practices, allows for the child to continue to breastfeed until it doesn't want to anymore. As I don't have breasts or children, I decided to hand the baton off to our editor-in-chief, Lori Cuthbert. Lori, take it away.
Thanks, Trace. The Time breastfeeding cover story was shocking even to me, and I breastfed my son until he chose to stop at 11 months. I think it was so shocking because it's not usual to see such an older child breastfeeding, and it's not usual to see breastfeeding out in the open like that. But I think that the cover needed to be so shocking to get people to read the article inside the magazine, which was about not just breastfeeding, but the attachment parenting method via Dr. Sears, and I also followed that method. The story tapped into a couple things that new mothers talk about a lot. One is breastfeeding, whether or not to, how long. The other is whether or not to let your child sleep with you. The debate still rages over whether baby suffers if mom stops breastfeeding and switches to formula after a couple weeks or even a couple months, and mothers have very strong opinions over whether or not to let their children into their bed, whether to go and snuggle them to sleep or to let them cry it out. I have those opinions too, and that is why the story was so big, because there is this ongoing debate everywhere in our society that just isn't usually carried out so publicly.
See the controversial fun on our Facebook or visit discoverynews.com/breastfeedingtime. So that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Discovery News. Make sure that you like us on Facebook, you're following us on Twitter, and that you check out our new Tumblr. You can also subscribe to our Discovery newsletter. Links to all of these are at discoverynews.com. Keep commenting and tweeting, I read them all, and have a great week. We'll see you next Friday.
You dominate everything.
Alas, poor Pitbull. I knew him well.
This is so horrible.